All right guys, stay tuned. We got something really exciting for you. We're gonna put and install the full Tomei system. I've already done it, but I'm gonna go through all the steps with you guys. I'm even show you like how we test for leakages and everything. The reason you wanna go with this Tomei system is it's 18.7 pounds. So stay tuned, follow us along, and let's get to it. Hold on. We do have a video coming up with the dual system that we're gonna put on our wrapped GR86. So make sure you stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, and watch for that in the near future. Okay, so this is the resonator section. This is actually a really large resonator, but still really lightweight. So this is the part that's gonna match up to the stock front pipe or any aftermarket front pipe. Check out these welds. So what this is actually a stopper. When you slip the other pipe on, it's gonna come up and bump into this, so you're not over pushing it, and it's gonna create a long enough piece where it's sealed. And then these are actually for the springs. So super cool. Whenever you're unwrapping these, you wanna be really careful not to nick the metal, the material, stainless, the titanium, whatever it might be. This is the tip. This is super cool. And that marks are for my gloves. Same concept here, your springs are gonna pull this thing tight. And this is a silencer hole. So this does include a silencer. What they're saying here is the stock exhaust hanger is gonna make this exhaust happy. If you're using an aftermarket one, it's gonna make the exhaust wiggle too much and it's gonna be sad and it potentially could crack and cause damage. And then here they're talking about the stopper, and if you're over tightening these clamps and stuff, it'll bend the titanium, so this is really important. We always start from the front and work our way back, and since we have the stock front pipe on, we're not gonna actually install this because it's just too big. So we're gonna keep the stock donut gasket on here, and we're gonna install this on and see how it is. It's a big thing with 3-inch exhaust. Sometimes we like to use the stock bolts. They do include 2 bolts here. This is for the front. This bolt here, this is for the exhaust hanger itself, and these are the springs that I was talking about earlier. And then, I'm not sure what this is gonna be for your silencer. And then you got some smooth paste. Bolt, smooth paste. So here's the stock donut gasket that I was talking about. And this is gonna fit right in here, nice and neatly. I think it's gonna fit perfect once I get this thing all tight. It's not too small, not too big, but if you notice, they actually reduced this down just a little bit. And let me show you what it looks like if you don't use that, if you want to do the flat gasket. So if you're gonna do this, this is really, the flange to flange is more for an aftermarket unit. So when I do it this way, it just feels like it's got a little bit of too much play in between it, and it's just not gonna seat properly, and it's gonna probably leak. So you've seen us install half a dozen, 2 dozen exhausts. I don't know, I keep track anymore. But let me clarify something. So this is the first one we're gonna actually use the bolts that the manufacturer provided, and that's because this shank right here doesn't fit through the actual hole in the flange itself. So when I go to push this through, it won't go any farther. I can't get my bolt on. It's just not gonna tighten it, okay? So we're gonna use the bolts that Tomei provided and clamp it down and get it all nice and tight. And sometimes you wanna use these and sometimes not. There's no set one per exhaust. Remember when we did our first Greddy back in 2013, it was like one of the 3-inch systems, and I think it leaked the first time and we just had to go back in there and redo it with the factory bolts or nuts. I can't remember which one it worked out with. So we're just kind of dry fitting this right now, if you will. We didn't put this exhaust hanger in yet. We're just kind of seeing how everything's gonna fit up. This is the first time we're doing this. Everything looks like it's gonna fit up pretty good. I believe that clamp is gonna go around here and come into these 2 stock exhaust hangers. Let's take it off, let's get our clamps on, and then we'll get back to it in a second. Now I'm gonna build the hanger for the exhaust, which requires this 1 bolt. And then we have to put that rubber strap around it. So let's get into that real quick. This is what I did. And this is basically just comes separate, and you just lay this in place. And then you just wanna adjust it so it's even. And then we're gonna slide this over the exhaust. So let me set these in here. It helps if you have someone helping, but I don't because someone wants to take a phone call real quick. Help a customer. So this is just gonna come around here. We're gonna just kind of get it in place a little bit. I'm gonna put this nut and bolt through there. I'm gonna put the nut on the top side. I'm gonna pull the bolt on the bottom. You can do this either way. I would just rather have this bolt sticking up through here. And I'm gonna leave this loose so that I can actually adjust it where it's best set. that threaded right there. Cool, so I can still get my depth wherever I need this to go. But first thing I'm gonna do is get this on. I already got my clamp set. And I got my clamp set so that basically, when I get this on, there we go. So this is all gonna come in place right here. This is what I was talking about. So this thing can only go so far and it's gonna hit that bump stop. Same thing with the one over here. Because it's on top, you can't really see it. But right there's that bump that I showed you earlier. And so this only goes to a certain place, and then they got the springs on the sides. And you can see this isn't in the right place because these will line up properly. So I'm gonna assume that's gonna go right there. So I'm gonna tighten this up right here. So you can still see the Tomei. Good with that. We tweaked some things around a little bit to get these to line up. So this was just twisted a little. We just needed to push this in the stock exhaust hanger up here a little bit more. And just kind of rotate it this way. And that allowed these to be straight. So you can see these are gonna line up good. And we loosened that a little bit more so we could play with it. These are fun little guys. You can use a flathead screwdriver, you can use vice grips. There's many ways to actually install these. But I'll leave that up to you guys. I've used a couple different ways. So I don't have my thing tight yet, but let me grab my tool that I want to use. Remember that top thing I showed you? So I make sure that's super tight. These are going to pull it even in tighter. So these are never any fun. So you can use, this is, don't know the name, forgot. Pick tools, these are pick tools. I'm gonna actually use this one because I can get a little bit behind it, but these are just really tight. There's one. You wanna make sure your clamp's still loose and free. There we go. Get that out. Okay, again, none of my clamps are tight, but this is pulling everything together, but I can still get access to my clamp right here. Actually, I think I want to actually put my bolt here. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it, so I'm going to need to undo that. I don't like them when they hang down. This one's okay because it's not the lowest point, and I wouldn't be able to get my tool up in the top. So this is where this one's going to go. Now I'm going to bring this up here because I just like my bolts and my clamps super tight and clean. There we go. Cool, and then I'll be able to tighten this right here. All right guys, this is coming along good. Tighten this guy up here. Springs are all pulling it together. One thing with titanium is you always want to wipe this down when you're done. Different types of material, chemicals, you can just clean this and polish it off. If not, your fingerprints will be all over. If you notice, I'm wearing gloves on this one. And I don't normally wear gloves on a lot of exhaust installs. I like to sandwich these together instead of like, you know, that's why the air tools or any power tools are gonna like suck one in really hard, pull another one. It's titanium, so it's a lot different material. So I just like to do it by hand and like just pull it in, take my time, just pull it in nice and straight. And I'm gonna show you at the end of the video how to check for actual exhaust leaks. You can use the soap and water technique, which is what I used to check tires with at Discount Tire, where you actually just take the soap and put it on a tire that's leaking, or you put it in a tub and roll it around. But getting off topic there, I'm gonna show you how to do it with an actual rag and then just listening to the car. Compressions is actually very deep. I was inside the car. But I'm gonna show you how to test for the leaks. So I'm just gonna grab 2 shop towels and I'm actually just gonna jam them in this hole here. And I listen up front for any leakage. You'll hear a little, like a pissing sound basically, or, you know. So that's the one way to test for leaks. So I don't hear any, so we're good. Stay tuned, we're gonna do sound clips, we're gonna take this outside and we're gonna compare this to the Tomei Dual all in one upcoming video. right, guys, we're going for a quick spin. First impressions is not a lot of drone. There's actually zero drone. But let me get to a constant speed here and see. Oh no, this is great. I like the sound. You can hear the exhaust, but it's not buzzy or anything like that. I'm at 2,500 to 3 grand. Yeah, we're pretty good. Solid. So I don't hear any drone. I can hear the in cabin. I can hear some sound, but nothing that concerns me.